And President Trump says it's possible he could be friends with Kim Jong-un one day. This following a tweet where Trump said he would never insult the North Korean leader in response to a Pyongyang statement describing the US president as an old lunatic. Yoo Jun-hee reports.
President Trump sent out a tweet while in Vietnam for the APEC summit, saying he wouldn't call North Korean leader Kim Jong-un short and fat, following an insult directed at him from Pyongyang's foreign ministry. When asked if he could see the possibility of him being friends with Kim, he said there could be a chance.
That might be a strange thing to happen, but it's certainly a possibility. If that did happen, it would be a good thing for, I can tell you, for North Korea. But it would also be good for lots of other places, and it would be good for the world.
Trump has traded threats and insults with Kim in the past, amid escalating tensions over North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. Having previously called him Rocket Man, the U.S. president also warned the North Korean leader he was putting himself in peril and grave danger during a speech last Tuesday at South Korea's National Assembly. However, both sides may now be backing down somewhat, with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson saying dialogue could soon take place, adding the U.S. has 2 or 3 channels available to send messages to the North Korean regime. North Korea, for its part, has also refrained from military provocations in recent weeks. It remains to be seen if the brief lull in tensions could lead to talks between Washington and Pyongyang that could pave the way for formal negotiations in the future. Yoo Jun-hee, ARIRANG News.
President Trump had been getting modest but respectful coverage of his trip to Japan, South Korea, China, and Vietnam. That is, until this weekend. He went on a tweet storm that included this missive on North Korea's leader. Why would Kim Jong-un insult me by calling me old when I would never call him short and fat? Oh well, I try so hard to be his friend, and maybe someday that will happen. Molly Hemingway, this is an unusual form of presidential diplomacy, but the press is ripping this as somewhere between undisciplined and nutty.
You know, it's funny because Twitter just doubled its character count, and I thought it was a horrible idea. But seeing what you can do with twice the Twitter characters, it really does make the case for doubling it. But it's a perfect example of how everyone seems to hear Donald Trump differently depending on their perspective. And you either think that when he says something like this, it's horrific and awful and about to lead us into World War III, or you think it's really funny. And I think the media issue is that so many people in the media reside only in one camp. They seem to only hear it as a threat and as a danger, and they don't really hear it as so many other people, not just in the country, but the world, hear it.
Whether it was wise or not, Juan, the press is still not accustomed to the fact that President Trump doesn't speak in carefully scrubbed diplomatic phrases, especially on the Twitter.
No, but I mean, this goes beyond that. I mean, the question is, you know, these are now official documents, his Twitter account. It's not just, oh, something just got thrown
it's important.
off. So it's real. And it comes from the commander-in-chief, and it comes from the leader of the free world. So, yes, it's funny. It's like schoolyard. If you and I, Howie, are staying in a schoolyard, we're joking with fine.
Yeah.
But when I'm leader of the free world and I start talking in those terms, I think it concerns people. Does he have control? And then people say, well, that's partisan. It's not partisan. It's just a worry.
What's also part of this controversy is what the president had to say or didn't have to say about Vladimir Putin, who he met with informally a couple of times at the Asia-Pacific Conference. So let me set this up. The president talked to reporters on a plane trip in Vietnam. And he said, I will just read it, he said, Trump talking about Putin, he said he absolutely did not meddle in our election. He did not do what they are saying he did. I really believe that when he tells me that, he means it. So there's a lot of shock and horror about this. What was the president saying? He then tried in an appearance with reporters to walk it back just a little bit. Look.
What I said there is that I believe he believes that, and that's very important for somebody to believe. I believe that he feels that he and Russia did not meddle in the election. As to whether I believe it or not, I'm with our agencies.
Of course. So is this a misstep, a miscommunication, something in between in terms of the way the press is playing it?
It's not a miscommunication. He obviously walked it back. There's a lot of believing in there, so it's hard to believe what to believe because there was so much believing. But I do want to go back to the tweets for just a second because John Kelly was asked about this by reporters on the trip, and he basically said, I tell my staff not to worry about the tweets. I'm not really going to take any questions on the tweets. And that is something that a number of administration staff have done. When Sean Spicer was press secretary, he always used to say at the podium, you know, the tweets speak for themselves. That is also what Sarah Sanders has said. So they obviously know the tweets are a problem, and they don't want to take questions on them.
The transcript does suggest, Molly, that Donald Trump believes Putin. If you look at the transcript, but people who have heard the audio, like Fox's John Roberts, say the inflection makes clear that wasn't Trump's meeting. The White House, by the way, won't release the audio, so we can't hear it first.
They should release the audio.
Okay.
I don't really think that what Trump said made sense there, either the original comment or what he was saying in the walk back. But it's also true that you see media respond to things he says or tweets, and they overstate what he's saying. So it is better to kind of take a step back, look at this larger issue of the relationship with Russia, whether they've understood properly his posture toward Russia. He did not, I mean, it's very difficult at a time like that, his original statement or his walk back.
Yeah, and that is the larger context one, because in another tweet, the president said only haters and fools would be opposed to a good relationship with Russia. And that's what he's been pursuing, and that's what a lot of the media folks find controversial.
Well, you see, the thing here is that we are, again, the context to the story is so important. We're in the midst of a probe as to the extent and dangers of interference in the American election by Russia. And so here's, he's just saying, I don't believe, and you think, so how's that possible, given what the intelligence agencies have reported, his own intelligence agencies, his own CIA director, and it fits in with what we were talking about earlier, Howie, which is this man has nuclear weapons.
Yes, most presidents do.
Yes.
Lon Williams, Aaron McPike, thanks very much. Molly, we'll see you later.